Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from whichever part of the world you're from. This is Kavita Ramchand from Life Success Coaching in Mauritius. So I'm reading to you now the book You Were Born Rich. We are continuing to read it. We are on chapter 7, and the title is The Risk Takers. So let me continue. I hope if you have not watched my other readings, you can always go back. All the whole playlist is there, so you can watch them one after the other. Okay, so here he says, now that you have taken your mind on this mental journey through your past, you finished the past, you've seen where you are, bring it forward to the present time. Let it become fully aware of the legions of men and women who today, who, like the young child looking longingly at the high diving board, would dearly love to quit their jobs, set out on an independent path, and do their own thing. Last time we saw the diving board analogy where a child is looking at somebody up there on a diving board and going to do that plunge into the swimming pool, and the child is like, wow, I wish I could do that. And the child does have the potential. Even every adult watching that knows that they have equally the same potential as that person, but they tend to see that the other person has it and they don't think they have it. So, in the same way, he says here, a lot of people maybe want to quit their jobs, set out on an independent path, and do their own thing. But just like that child, they will look at others who have done it and don't believe that they can also do that. And these unfortunate people never quite work up enough courage to step out and actually take the plunge. As a result, such individuals miss out on many of the opportunities that life affords us all. And what is even sadder, they never get a chance to plumb the depths of their own innate resources. Since they're afraid they might not make it, afraid they might lose it, afraid they might fail, they simply choose to maintain the status quo and do nothing. You see, fear is something that can really stop people from doing anything that they want. And I remember I had a lot of fears, and I had to overcome these fears one at a time. It was not an easy thing to do, but it was the most liberating thing I've done in my life, to just get rid of everything that was stopping me from moving forward in life. And yeah, it was like taking a big jump, a leap of faith, a leap of faith, I would say. To It's scary, but it's okay. We grow when we face our challenges. And as you take the first step and the second step, your courage will build up. Just remember small children when they're starting how to walk. Do you tell them you'll never be able to walk? We never do that. They will fall so many times. Yet we tell them, you can do it. Come on, get up again. Right? Why do we do this to ourselves? Why don't we have the courage to say that, yes, come on, get up again. I can do it. I will do it. Move. Past is gone. Now, he says here, since they're afraid they might not make it, afraid they might lose, afraid they might fail, they simply choose to maintain the status quo and do nothing. Yeah, I read that earlier. So now the irony is, however, that even if a person should assiduously attempt to avoid all risks, he or she will still inevitably end up failing from time to time. But the point is, so what? What difference does it really make? After all, failing doesn't make us a failure. And the only time we do become a failure and is when we decide to stop trying anymore. Therefore, even if we should falter along the way, we never really fail because we always retain the capacity to try once more. See, this is something very, very important, and it's crucial, I think, in today's generation because a lot of people have not understood failure really. You know, when our children are growing, many of our parents who did not know any better because probably they were fired when they failed or they didn't really have much of an education. There were no such opportunities for some people in maybe the last century, you know. But today's generation is very different. Today's children are born in everything. They are blessed with everything. And yet as parents, many times we tell our children, you know how hard life was for me? They don't understand that. They cannot comprehend that because they've never experienced that. So telling them that is just going to make them feel guilty that they are doing something wrong. You know, I'm so blessed to have a mother who has always pushed me to my limits, even though I used to not like it. But I learned to face challenges thanks to her. I never looked down on challenges, but it came to a point where I was really afraid. And that time still, I had the courage, thanks to my mom's pushing, to take a leap of faith. To take a leap of faith and invest in myself. Huge investment. At that time, I saw it as a huge investment. And, but it did such good for me. Like I would say, it was the most priceless education that I got because thanks to that, I can help so many people understand these concepts that are so real to our life, and yet most people are not aware of it. It's not that we don't know that we can fail in life. We say, yeah, it's okay to fail. We hear these things, we know these things. But when it happens to us, are we able to face them? Are we able to come out of them? Are we able to allow our children to fail and take it in our stride and tell them it's okay? You can do better next time. Failure doesn't mean you're a failure. You can do better. So, this is something very important that we need as parents to open our minds to today because I'll tell you, at one point, I faltered as a parent because I was doing to my children exactly what my dad had done to me, especially not in every sphere, but in the field of education. Because my father had high expectations of me, and I put those expectations on my kids. And if they didn't do well at any point, I would get really upset. And then I realized after this education, I realized that it was all so in vain for me to do that. Why was I behaving like that? It pushed my kids from me, away from me. And I had, thanks to that education, I was able to bring them back to me. Because children will go. If you don't treat them well, now they're kids and we are big and they are helpless. But it's just a matter of time that they will not stay with us anymore. They will just go, they'll become stronger than us, isn't it? So we want to treat children with love, with respect, because they are just born a few years after us. Nothing gives us the right to dominate over our children, that they are ours. No, they've just come through us. We are here to nurture them until they're strong enough to leave the nest and go. Flip Wilson's story. Flip Wilson, the famous comedian, is best known for his ability to make people laugh. But here is what he said in a somewhat more serious vein about his own experience with the risk taking process. I fell down and I got up. I fell down and got up. For 16 years, I did practically nothing else but fall down and get up. We hear so many stories like that. There is Thomas Edison who failed 999 times before he could invent the light. Does anybody look at his failures, or everybody is rejoicing in the fact that they have electricity in their homes? The Wright brothers failed before they were able to invent the aeroplane. Their first plane stuck in the air for 14 minutes only. Did they give up? Their father kept on criticizing them for trying to make human beings fly. Do we ever look at the stories of these people and what they went through before they invented these things? Or are we just enjoying taking our flights? Nobody ever thinks back and how did these things come up? And if they could make something out of their imagination, to think of a dream they had to make a machine fly, what makes us think that we cannot dream? Because all of us have an imagination and we can all dream of what we want to create in our life, isn't it? Yeah. Even so, do you think Flip Wilson ever thought of himself as a failure? You bet your life he didn't. For if he had, he would never have found the courage to try just one more time. And you and I would probably have never even heard his name. So the author says here, you should understand at this juncture. Now, okay, I'm not going to read this part now because we'll go over time. So thank you very much for being here. I hope this was very informative and it's something that I find very important, especially looking at the state of children in the world today and how many are committing suicides. It's not funny. So we want to nurture our children. We want to give them so much support and love, even if they fail, because that's what they actually want at that time. So thank you very much, and I will see you on Thursday. Bye bye.